I have a little bit of backstory on this go-kart. So in the spring of 2020, me and a neighbor picked this thing up for $150 because we knew there was a 2-week lockdown coming up, and we bought it as a project for all the boys my age in my neighborhood just to give us something to do during the lockdown. Well, it turns out the 2-week lockdown turned into a 12+ month lockdown, so it's ended up in my possession. We had a lot of fun with this thing while it lasted, but then the lockdown got so severe that we couldn't meet up to actually do anything with it anymore. During the summer, me and my brother had a little bit of fun with it around the neighborhood, but ever since then, it's basically just sat in the corner of my garage and deteriorated. Well, today, I want to bring it back and make it better than ever. We had a stock Predator 212 on it, and it was fun while it lasted, but I took this thing apart for parts for this buggy that I'm building back here, and it turns out that this thing is actually like super sketchy, and there was a ton of things wrong with it, and it was like totally unsafe. So it was just sitting over there for months and months and months. But now I'm gonna rebuild this thing with like good parts, and we're gonna do a little bit of an upgrade on it. We're gonna be replacing it with a 150cc 5-speed motorcycle engine that I got from that motorcycle there. So the specs on this thing say it makes about 15-16 horsepower, which, I mean, it's a 150, that seems a little high, maybe 14 horsepower, but that should be plenty to get this go-kart going pretty dang fast. This engine plate is cracked and damaged quite a bit, and there's also a ton of other things that were wrong with this thing. So I took the old axle out, which was bent on one end, and I used it for the swing arm pivots on this thing. Well, to get that axle out, I had to cut both bearing hangers off because the bearings are just completely frozen to the axle, and that was the only way I could drop the axle. The middle one is still fine. A little while ago, I welded them back on, and now I just need to get a new axle and some other bits and pieces, and then this thing should be good to go again. So what I want to do first is to mount the engine in the frame so that it's attached to something so that I can run the engine and get it tuned and running good. Then we can rebuild the axle. So I have the wiring harness very crudely hooked up here. I think it works. Sort of works. So I'm just gonna hope that this thing fires up. Here goes nothing. I originally had a 12-tooth sprocket going from the jackshaft to the axle. Well, heck that 12-tooth. I'm going to replace it with an 18, and this should get us from 30 miles an hour to 50. Bit sketchy. We'll be alright. Well, I have slightly disappointing news, and that is that it has been exactly 2 months and 7 days since I've uploaded. Which means, if I wait any longer to upload this video, YouTube is going to think I have been killed. But the good news is, we have a shifter, we have pedals, we have an engine, we have an axle, we have chains and jackshaft. We don't have wiring. Forgot about wiring. So in the next one, we need wheels, finish the pedals, wiring, and then we just need to attach the seat somehow, and then we can take this thing for a test drive. So that's epic. Also, for those of you that have been wondering what in the world has happened to the buggy, where is part 3? I don't have any metal. I'm out of metal. I went to go get new metal, and the place just doesn't have any. They're just out. So I don't have any metal, and I don't know where to get any. The place I went to has new metal, like pipe that's brand new, 52 bucks for 20 feet. I'm not paying 52 bucks for 20 feet of that pipe. So I'm basically just stuck with that thing until I can figure out somewhere to get some scrap 1-inch pipe for less than 3 arms and 2 legs. But at least I have this thing to work on in the meantime. So if you enjoyed this, make sure to subscribe and then hit the like button and perhaps share this with your friends. That would be epic. But until then, just tell me how you think of this thing in the comments, and I will see you in the next one.